Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Virtual CISO Moments Infosec wrap up for Friday, August 11th, 2023. We begin today with U.S. cybersecurity giant Rapid7 has announced plans to lay off 18% of its workforce. This is affecting more than 400 global employees, TechCrunch reports. In a regulatory filing, the Boston-based cybersecurity company said its restructuring effort is, quote, designed to improve operational efficiencies, reduce operating costs, and better align the company's workforce with current business needs. The filing confirms that Rapid7 will eliminate 18% of its workforce, but the company did not say how many employees would be affected, nor did it respond to TechCrunch's questions. Rapid7, which in January hired Twitter whistleblower Peter Mudzetko, reported more than 2,600 employees at the end of 2022, and the Boston Globe reports that around 470 employees have been laid off. The company said in its filing that it estimates the layoffs will result in $24 million to $32 million in severance and other costs, noting that the execution of the restructuring plan will mostly be complete by the end of its fiscal fourth quarter later this year. Rapid7 added it also plans to permanently close certain office locations as a result of the restructuring, which will cost the company an additional $4 million. Rapid7 did not say which locations would close. The company, which describes itself as hybrid first, currently has 10 offices across the United States with locations in New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Today's economic climate has resulted in a large number of involuntary employee departures. These exits spark the possibility of frustrated or disgruntled former employees reassessing critical business information. This can include infrastructure as a code, private GitHub repositories, customer data, SaaS application logins, and more, according to Ciolo. And if you think, quote, my employees wouldn't do that, end quote, then think again. Studies reveal that more than 83% of ex-employees admit to accessing their previous employer's accounts. These access attempts may not all necessarily be malicious, but malignant isn't the only danger. A terminated employee's leftover account credentials widen a company's overall attack surface and leave it open to initial access steps in the MITRE attack kill chain. Exploitation can occur within innocuous applications ranging from everyday tools such as Slack to critical production code in GitHub. Now, in the current job market, marked by an influx of layoffs within the tech sector, as we just reported, like with Rapid7, hackers are actively exploiting news of workforce reductions to specifically target recently terminated employees, further intensifying the urgency to address these security concerns head-on. I have a feeling that we're going to hear more about this as time goes on. vCISO Services is a small, specialized, veteran-owned information security firm with a calling, founded on Christian values and focused on the needs of small and mid-sized businesses. Our passion is to help small and mid-sized businesses gain a fighting chance in an increasingly hostile cybersecurity threat environment by providing executive part-time virtual CISO services, information security risk management services, and CISO advisory services. Check them out at vcisoservices.com. And speaking about virtual CISOs, Hitch Partners recently released their vCISO survey, which I participated in. Key insights listed here. The vCISO role has emerged significantly, driven by an increasing awareness of its importance and unique market conditions. These conditions have led to an unprecedented shift within the CISO community, with more CISOs actively seeking work in a sluggish market than ever before, making the vCISO role an attractive and low-risk option to maintain their career trajectory and market presence. Next one. Our survey suggests both small companies and companies with cloud-enabled infrastructures opt to retain the services of a vCISO more often than their counterparts, suggesting that new companies are more likely to adopt cloud infrastructure solutions. vCISO engagements frequently extend beyond the originally agreed upon term. Among companies of all sizes, the most frequently requested vCISO services are GRC, strategic planning, and evaluating the security team's maturity, mentoring junior team members. As companies scale, additional priorities emerge, such as threat prevention and reducing the attack surface, business continuity planning, and temporary interim coverage. Companies with less than 500 employees show a greater tendency to utilize vCISO services for sales-related credibility and guidance, while slightly larger companies, those with over 1,000 employees, are more inclined to hire a vCISO to address insider threats and event remediation. And finally, the primary sectors utilizing vCISO services include finance banking, SaaS, manufacturing, industrial, fintech, and healthcare. This observation indicates that in industries where customer trust is crucial, they are more inclined to engage with vCISO partnerships. The world's leading cybersecurity guidance is getting its first complete makeover since its release nearly a decade ago. Yes, I'm talking about the cybersecurity framework from NIST. After considering more than a year's worth of community feedback, NIST, or National Institute of Standards and Technology, has released a draft version of the Cybersecurity Framework, CSF 2.0, a new version of the tool it first released in 2014. Hard to believe it was been 9 years ago now, to help organizations understand, reduce, and communicate about cybersecurity risk. The draft update, which NIST has released for public comment, reflects changes in the cybersecurity landscape and makes it easier to put the CSF into practice for all organizations. Quote, with this update, we are trying to reflect current usage of the cybersecurity framework and to anticipate future usage as well, said NIST's Sherilyn Pascoe, the framework's lead developer. Quote, the CSF was developed for critical infrastructure like the banking and energy industries, but has proved useful elsewhere, from schools and small businesses to local and foreign governments. We want to make sure that it's a tool that's useful to all sectors, not just those designated as critical. Now, here's the important thing. Pay attention. NIST is accepting public comment on the draft framework until November 4th, 2023. NIST does not plan to release another draft. A workshop planned for the fall will be announced shortly and will serve as another opportunity for the public to provide feedback and comments on the draft. The developers plan to publish the final version of NIST CSF 2.0 in early 2024. So read it and comment if you so desire. Now, on a state level, Infosecurity magazine reports that Governor Kathy Hochul has introduced New York's first ever statewide cybersecurity strategy, reinforced by a $600 million commitment. Now, this strategy emerges as a core state of the state priority, aiming to heighten New York's resilience against contemporary cyber threats. Quote, our interconnected world demands an interconnected defense, leveraging every resource available, Governor Hochul emphasized. This strategy sets forth a nation-leading blueprint to ensure New York State stands ready and resilient in the face of cyber threats. The initiative is designed to shield critical infrastructure, data, networks, and technology systems from malicious attacks. By uniting both public and private stakeholders, including local governments, it seeks to orchestrate a unified front against cyber adversaries. Now, the strategy has three unification, resilience, and preparedness. And they are designed to enable New York State to not only deter cyber attacks, but also neutralize potential threats effectively. The commitment also includes allocating $90 million to centralized cybersecurity, $30 million designated for shared services strengthening local government cybersecurity. An additional $500 million will be invested in healthcare, information technology, cybersecurity infrastructure, and $7.4 million will expand New York State Police cyber units. Additionally, the governor signed legislation to boost New York's technology talent pool, providing funding for employers to acquire and retain cybersecurity professionals. Be interesting to see how this initiative plays out. CSO Online says takeovers of MFA protected accounts increase as Microsoft 365 phishing campaign shows. Now, a Microsoft 365 phishing campaign has targeted over 100 companies since March and successfully compromised accounts belonging to senior business executives. The attackers used Evil Proxy, a phishing toolkit that uses reverse proxy tactics to bypass multi-factor authentication, or MFA, because we love acronyms. Quote, contrary to what one might anticipate, there has been an increase in account takeovers among tenants that have MFA protection, researchers from security firm Proofpoint said in a report. Based on our data, the report continues, at least 35% of all compromised users during the past year had MFA enabled. Proofpoint reports seeing a 100% rise in successful cloud account takeover incidents over the last 6 months, with attackers improving their techniques and even filtering compromised targets by their organizational roles in what seemed to be an automated manner. Out of hundreds of accounts that were accessed by attackers, 39% were C-level executives, 17% were CFOs, and 9% were presidents and CEOs. When it came to lower-level management and personnel, the hackers focused on users with access to financial assets or sensitive information. The phishing messages masqueraded as automated emails generated by trusted services or applications such as Business Expense Management System Concur, DocuSign, and Adobe Sign. They claimed to contain either expense reports requiring approval or documents that needed to be signed. The URLs in the rogue emails took victims through a series of redirects, first through an open redirect script from a legitimate website such as YouTube or Slick Deals. From there, the victims' browsers were redirected several more times through various pages and 404 errors with the likely intention of scattering the traffic and making discovery by automated tools. Finally, an interesting article from Cybersecurity Insiders: India to replace all its defense-related Microsoft systems with Maya OS due to ransomware. Or Maya. I pronounce it Maya. M-A-Y-A. With this significant stride, India becomes the second company globally after Russia to undertake the replacement of operating systems across all devices. The rationale behind this move is to counteract the escalating malware and DDoS attacks that aim not only to disrupt operations, but also to pilfer critical information from the compromised systems. Now, Maya OS, conceptualized and crafted by the Union Ministry of Defense in early 2022, is geared towards safeguarding computing devices against a spectrum of cyber threats. At its core, Maya OS is built upon an open-source Ubuntu foundation, fortified with robust security features. Remarkably akin to the functionality of Windows, Maya OS ensures a seamless transition for all users. A standout feature of Maya OS is the integration with an advanced edge security software called Chakrava. This software operates as a vigilant monitoring system, effectively countering malware and providing a protective shield against espionage attempts. Now, informed sources reveal that Maya OS boasts compatibility with popular applications such as MS Office, Adobe Photoshop, and AutoCAD. Well, that's cool. This inherent flexibility allows it to seamlessly integrate with existing applications, meeting the demands of the current ecosystem. I have never heard of this, or if I have, I've forgotten it. It sounds very interesting. A Windows machine that isn't a Windows machine, acts like a Windows machine, but is acting more like a Linux machine behind the scenes. It sounds very interesting. That's it for today. That's it for this week. Hope you're having a good time. If you're a Black Hat, I hope you're having a good time. And take it easy out there. And as always, particularly out there, stay secure.